Hey guys, another Black Projects 51 update for 11/29/2025 at 6:17 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've got some updates here, primarily on the X-Wing. What I've done, and I guess I'll just start with the simplest thing. I got these areas here. Uh, they're not ideal. When I went to scribe, the scribing on at least one side went a little janky, and um, I think I might be able to fix it. So, but anyway, so there's just that. So all of this now is completely gray, including the rear deck back here, and so that's what's going on with that. Um, I did for the Hulk Buster. I purposely went for the crinkle paint finish. So what I did is I sprayed some enamel gloss black and then some and let it set for about 15 minutes and then sprayed some lacquer over the top of it. But on this one edge here, I'm not getting that uniform crinkled effect. So um, I don't know. I it's something I'll deal with later. But more interesting things. Um, this is the area right behind uh, where R2D2 would go normally. And this is the aft section that sits on the back behind the cockpit. Put a red LED in there. So I got that done. It's not like this stuff took hours and hours. I mean, I've been fiddle farting around with that stinking Jeep today, and I'm not going to say. And then this, I got two blue LEDs in there, and I'm really liking the effect. The effect I got going with this thing, just the lighting effect. Oh, and I did cut a round piece of heavy duty paper towel to put as a diffuser. I cut a round disc, put it in there, it laid in perfectly, and then I glued down the housing. And what I'm going to do now is normally I would have this pre-set up, but I got to do this at least maybe two or three times for you. So I'm just going to try to make it quick here. Um, so, yeah. So that's the effect I got, and I like it. And that's all the speaker holes. But you know what? I told you I wanted this to be different from the standard uh, X-Wing, and I think I've accomplished that. So there's that. Actually, it goes like this, but hey. What I like too is, there at the 6 o'clock position, that's where I had to fill in where that lever went through. And that's what it looks like on the other side. So I had got it blended, found just the right parts to put in that area. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Um, and then I went through all the engines and got the LEDs glued down and uh, where I want them, and had to completely reposition one, and it was a little bit of a mess. But so just as a reminder, to show you the uh, engine effect. Now I may incorporate a breathing effect or something to the engines. I don't know, probably not, but you can see that effect looks pretty good. Now, what I may do is, I mean, this part still comes off, so I still have access to this back LED. Um, well, actually, no, I don't. So I'm going to have to sand all these clear parts, diffuse them some. I got to do something because I don't want the hot spot there where you can clearly see the LED. But you can see I got a good effect in the back. Um, it looks much better in person, but yeah, so all of them work. I tested them, and I'm pretty happy with the results. The next phase on the engines is touch up painting and detailing and so on and so forth. Uh, I also have to run an electrical circuit to tie all this stuff in. That's a little ways out. Um, and let me see. Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to turn my back on you like that. But, anyways, that's what I got going. I'm just curious here. I'm trying to see where I can. No, I think I found it. I'm going to twist the ends together just to be able to feed them through. What I'm doing is feeding the electrical wire down through where, uh, well, I'm trying to get it to feed through here, and there it goes. I don't know if I'm going to be able to leave it there, but that's how that looks. That's how the wire came out on the other side. So that looks like it's going to work out okay. And to finish out the electric circuit, that will happen once I close up the fuselage, but that's not happening here in a while. So that's on there. Um, the canopy, I still got to polish it and do a few other details. I got to do the transparencies on the canopy and so forth. Um, so I think what I'm going to do is pause for a moment. All right, guys, I'm back. What I'm going to do is just quickly assemble what I have here that can be assembled as far as, you know, where I'm able to assemble at this point in the game. So I got that running back there. Reason I'm doing this because I'm wanting to get a good idea how the wires fall out, and I'm looking at existing holes and stuff in the bottom of this thing, like those and things, and wondering. I probably have to make use of this area right here for the FX rod that goes up to the bottom of the. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. I'll find out at some point whether or not that's doable. Um, the wings here, I'm going to go ahead and put them together here. Um, yeah, those wires where they fall out may not work. This is what's happening. That's where that red LED is at. This is where it's, I think I'm going to have some interference. That's why you take your time doing this stuff. Um, yeah, this, yeah, the wires are already interfering with me putting this together. So that's why you test fit everything, guys. You gotta make sure what you're doing is actually going to work out and not interfere um, with any of the other assemblies. So I'm looking here. I got this long channel. I had the wires running down through there, but I don't think that's going to work out. So I can run the wires forward and then down through this little hole here. There's a square hole here. You can see it. So with that said, um, wow, I may have spoke too soon. And what I'm going to have to do, because I had to bend where the LEDs, where the wires come off the LEDs, like that. I don't know if they're going to work now. And I may have to pull this one out and it's glued in. Oh no, that's not it. There we go. So what I'm doing here is I'm just doing a test fit, but for some reason it is not wanting to lay down. Well, there it is. I think the wires are impeding it a little bit, but yeah, they're floating on that. So it's what I may do, because there's always the option for me to drill more holes if necessary. And that's probably what I'm going to have to do because this tower, that I ran it out initially. This is part of the where the axle, the pivot pin for the X-wings sits, so I can't compromise that. So that's why you test fit. You gotta make sure what you're doing is actually going to work. And yeah, I'll probably have to. I'll off camera. I'll have to do some thinking because it's not just cut and dry. If I with the existing holes in infrastructure, if I can't make this thing um, fit correctly, then it's going to be a no go. Um, the gluing of these things has proven to be at times because the different kinds of plastics and materials I'm using, it's really been a bit of a challenge. So this accelerator, boy, is a lifesaver when you're using CA glue and you want it to cure quickly. That accelerator by Bob Smith Industries Instaset. Um, I think it's Bob Smith is who manufactures it. Made in the USA. That's nice to see. Yeah, it's BSI, Bob Smith Industries. Good product. I've been using it for years, decades. So what I did, because the LED was starting to lose position, so and I got just a little bit of a squeeze out from a previous gluing session. And what I'm trying to do is just get it out of here. So, okay, success. So there it is. Um, so I think that's going to be good as far as that goes. And and just one more time, just because I'm sitting here thinking, and I sometimes I don't always remember my previous thought process on something, and it usually pops in my head if I go and repeat. So can't wait till I can solder all this and make it proper. Oh yeah. So there it is. I really like it. I think it really gives a uniqueness to this particular build and what I'm trying to accomplish and sets it apart from all the conventional X Wings. So, yeah. what I may do now is go back to what I was trying to do, which was get the X-Wing back into, that's the back, get the X-Wing back into its position. And I think I've got it. Yes, I do. Okay, the only thing I have to do is, well, I don't have them sitting here, unfortunately, but I do have the front side that I can. Let me pause just for a second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just basically am doing a test fit, and I'm glad I did. When you're tackling a project like this, where you have scratch building and original structure, if you will, that you're dealing with and modifying, test fitting's your friend. So, yeah, like I said, I got the transparency in the top. I already told you that just the other day, but that's how that's looking. And of course, it lights up. You guys just saw that. So, and I still got to sort out the engines as a whole, their overall look, which is I'm my own worst enemy. I am. I just, huh, interesting. I saw something here. Notice, remember the channel I showed you in the bottom? Well, there's also a channel in the top, for the red LED that's right here. And I know why my LED is interfering with, um, yeah, there is going to be some challenges moving forward. Um, yeah, see, anything that I have in this area is going to be met with the challenge of this LED. What I may have to do is I may have to just cut out, because you see, it's wanting to pop back up. It's because it's riding on the bottom side of the LED, the wiring where it goes into the LED, and I can't have that. So I think what I'm going to do, and this is again where you got to stop and think. I need to open up an area here, but this is the aft tower area that the um, pivot pin rests in on the backside. Nothing's nothing's easy, guys. Anything worthwhile is going to present a challenge. Wow, I'm beat, guys. I really am. Stressed out too. Had issues with my Jeep today that just I'm already $400 into it, and I'm going to be spending more just to get it sorted out. But anyways, that's not modeling. So yeah, but the fit has improved over time, and some areas are going to require a little extra attention. Right here, both sides, this area from about here back to there, are going to require some special treatment. I think what I'm going to do is have a piece on the inside from the top of sheet styrene, maybe an inch wide and 4 inches long, and just glue it halfway on the top half, and then when I'm ready to put it together, I can uh, put glue on the other side of that strip of styrene on both sides, and just glob some glue in there and um, hope for the best. um, I mean, I love this stuff. It's challenging and all that, but I'm uh, I'm wore out. Let's see here. I'm just curious. You know how, with its current setup, I'm just trying to. I just want to hold one of these engines in places, but the wires, since they're just kind of there right now, and yeah, I can already tell this is going to be fun. Okay, so that's what we got currently. Um, but since I have detailing to do on the engines and other things, I am going to, yeah, there's these areas here. I want to modify them. I'm not quite sure in what way I want to modify them. I've got some ideas, and I've told you them in the past. Maybe covering right over them, and you know, using parts of it. I don't know. I Everything you do, you gotta make sure it's going to work. It's going to be functional and not interfere with everything else. That's why, again, test fitting stuff is important. Um, I don't know. I'm going to have to when I go to do the cockpit, and I'm gonna have to build custom seats. I think I could probably find some printer files, and my buddy comes over, we could probably print some. Um, I mean, I'm pretty good at scratch building stuff, so I can make some decent looking seats for it. But there'll be nobody sitting in them, so uh, there's tons of details on every area of this model, whether it be painting parts, engineering something new to fit in here and give a different look. I mean, all that stuff is what's going on up here. And Yeah, and there's still a few spots where I'm going to be able to use screws to help hold this together. The whole thing's getting glued, but where there are still functional screw holes, they're going to get used. Um, I got some scratches and places where the paint's chipped off on the canopy frame, but it looks natural, and I'm probably going to leave it. I'm not going to touch it up because when I go to weathering, I think it'll just all blend in. And real chips and paint and stuff look better than fake ones. So, um, yeah, I like I said, I just got a lot going on up here. Fighting off a little bit of depression, unfortunately. Um, but that's why I have my hobby. It helps me manage things and takes my mind off things. So, yeah, lesson to be learned here is you got a simple structure that should just pop into place, but once you add an LED, then everything hanging down here below is going to require you to change something on the model to accommodate it. Um, so it is what it is. And some things on this have really, oh, excuse me, been a challenge, just even in the thought process, because there are thought processes that'll take you into mediocrity if you follow through on it. And then there's thought processes that, if pondered on long enough and thought about and doing a little research, you come to your best possible solution. So uh, keep that in mind when you're doing your modeling. There's always an answer and there's always a solution. And sometimes you find it from sources not even related to modeling that help you solve a problem. I've had that happen to me many times. So um, I'm just, I really like the original intakes in engines here on the forward side. I think it's got a cool look, but I don't know what I should do because I got to do it at least 4 times. I got to duplicate it, and good planning will help you duplicate things. Sorry, guys. I'm not kidding you. I'm about ready to drop out on you here. I got up early and started to work on that truck, and it just went on and on and on. One problem after another. Part that I was messing with on the ignition switch, not where the key goes in, but the electronic module for the ignition switch. There was a little pin. Once I removed that component, that was there, and at the last second, as I was pulling it off, that little pin was plastic busted, and I think it's a plunger pin that, when actuated, because it was spring loaded, I noticed, um, allows you to release your key from the ignition. Because my key is currently stuck in my ignition. It's been that way for 2 days now. And it's going to be that way through the weekend till Monday morning when I head over to the Alpine Locksmith here in Reno, Nevada, which are the great guys. So if you're here local and you need a locksmith, Alpine, I've dealt with them many times and they've really been good to me. So, yeah. The X-Wing. I am just wanting to make this thing right. And how I do that with and maintain my vision in my head, well, one step at a time. A lot of people do engineering drawings. That's another step, a very labor intensive step, or make 3D models or engineering drawings online and, using various different softwares to build and make parts that they need. I kind of wing it. I just generally my idea that I carry in my head works just as well as anything I could do otherwise, so I go with it. Yeah, so before I fall asleep on you, I'm sorry guys. I really am. I am going to let you go. And yeah, the blue lighting back there I thought was really cool. And somewhere down the road, once we're able to close up the fuselage, but I got to make absolutely sure before I close up the fuselage that I've got everything I need in place. I still got to modify and accurize the and detail the landing gear. My engine housings, that's something that's up in the air as far as these forward sections. Um, the wing modifications. Yeah, my microphone's laying up here all maladjusted. Yeah, so there's so much work to do, and of course here on the bottom side in the back, all of this has got to when it's done. Like these screw holes right here are still usable, and that'll help hold it together. These up front are not. They go to nothing, but there is a screw right there. So all of it will help when it goes to putting this together. And once I get it all glued together, the screw holes, I will probably fill them most of the way with something solid, um, and go from there and shave them down, smooth them out, close them up so they're not there anymore. I want to keep as much of the electronics external, meaning going, uh, the lighting effects and stuff, because I still got a bunch of lighting I'm going to have to do in the cockpit for the cockpit displays, which I have to scratch built. I mean, I don't know. There may be some really cool files out there to print some really cool 3D printed uh, cockpits that I could use, but the reward is the same. So, yeah. So I got to sort this situation out, and I'm just not sure how I'm going to be able to do it because the area that I originally fed my wires down is previously occupied. Once you assemble it like I do have it assembled here, all the X-wing mechanisms in the way. So I I got to come up with a different plan. Um, and I'm not sure what that is. But I'm going to go in and check on my wife, see what she's doing. And yeah, I'll have another update for you here in a day or so, maybe even tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know when that part's going to arrive from my Jeep so I can put my steering column back together because it's all torn apart right now. Yeah. Mm. Anyways, um, oh, in the interim, I will be working on Mr. Hulkbuster's display stand. I was hoping to get the crinkle finish on this end like it did on every other side for the most part, but it didn't do it. Maybe if I spray another coat of lacquer on this end, oh, two sides at least, because I got two sides that are pretty uniform and two sides that aren't. So I just want it to look as best as I can, because once I get the border of this stupid display stand squared away, which, you know, I was able to trim loose away all the squeeze out from the uh, Gorilla Glue that I used. And just as a friendly reminder, if you're going to use Gorilla Glue, use it sparingly and do like the instructions say. What I should have done here was laid down a smooth and even coat, not just and then boom like I did. Oops, wow. I just smacked the X-Wing. Didn't hurt it though. Anyways, so doing things right will save you some time. I did get all my holes because I got a little tiny hole right here by my finger for a screw to run up into his right leg, and then this bigger hole right there where the electronics wiring will go down through. I want it to have some flexibility. That's why I made the hole so large, and the foot's going to hide it. So, um, yeah, I'm probably going to go ahead right now. Let's get off the camera here, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this two sides here and see if I can get it to crinkle. I never thought I'd do that, but I actually kind of like the way it looks. It's textured. Some people, hey man, look at your paint's all crinkled. Yeah, I wanted it that way because I do. Um, and then I can mask this off once it's dry, and I can scribe my panel lines, you know, floor seams, if you will, into the thing, and then I can go ahead and paint it, and then I can put some wash that'll go down inside the separation lines on the pavement, if you will, and uh, and then I'll build on the backside here. I will build a like an alcove for Seven of Nine on Star Trek Voyager, something very similar is what is going to go on here. So, and I'll have to add to the floor structure some details, but right now I'm not sure what those details will be. And that's going to be a little bit more of a project than I anticipated as well, because I got to make an infrastructure back behind Hulkbuster mech suit, whatever you want to call him, because in this uh, interpretation of the Hulkbuster, he's not Hulkbuster anymore. He's U.S. military, Marine Corps Buster. I don't know. Not Marine Corps Buster, but Marine Corps mechanized suit. I don't know. Anyways, that's the basic theme and idea behind it from my perspective. Yeah. So some work to do still, even on something as simple as a display stand. And that's it for now, guys. Peace.